Hey YouTube, guys, welcome back to my channel. I go by the name of Kialeboga Moholo, and today I'll be bringing you a story time. If you're new, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you're going to stay. Can you please comment, like, and hit the subscription button so that you can always see the videos I post. And I think I'll be doing some story times from this one. I don't know if I have any more stories to tell, but I'll just think about it. And I know this is the type of content that you guys like, but it makes me quite anxious because all the stories are traumatizing that I have to tell you guys. So I always have to just like talk to myself about it and talk to myself and convince myself that I'm going to do a story time. And finally, here I am with another story time. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Mwah. So currently, what's happening right now outside is that it's raining. I was supposed to go for a braai with my friends, but I just decided I'm not going there anymore because it's raining. And I thought, let me just get cozy and talk about something, make some herb. I'm always smoking herbie. Well, not always, but I smoke herb and herb. And you know, get some popcorn, something to drink, and let me just tell you guys a story. Really, nah? One day. So I once met this. No, okay. This story is going to be about how I found out that the guy I was dating was married, and I didn't even know about that. Fine. So I met this guy. I met him through a friend of mine. We were at some place, and they came. And so he introduced us. This guy showed interest, and I was like, okay, this is a pretty chilled out guy. Let's see what can happen. And we exchanged numbers, and he called me. He would call me. It was a Sunday when I met him, so during the week he would call. Now, when he calls, he would be like, no, around like 6 o'clock in the evening. He'd always call like, hey, I hope you had a good day, you know, and I'm on my way home from work. I'll call you when I get home before I sleep, actually. I'd be like, okay. But he would never call. And one time I asked him, he said you'd call, and because I personally do not like it when somebody tells me they're going to do something and they don't do it. I hate it. So he said he's going to call, and he didn't call. So I asked him the following day, he said you're going to call, and then he threw a tantrum like, but I called you before I got home. You should at least be happy. So I'm like, you know what? Niggas gonna be niggas. I don't care. Sharp. And then one time during the week, he came through to Potch. He actually stayed in Gauteng. And then he was like, let's meet up. And he came, and we sat in the car, the ghetto. If there's one thing I hate, is for a guy to say he's coming to check up on me, and then we sit in the car or at my place. Let's go to a restaurant, something. I don't care, just not in the car. So that was the first sign of the ghetto, actually. But I was like, it's fine. So I met up with my guy, and we were talking. So that's when he proposes to me that he wants to be my boyfriend. And he asks me if I have a boyfriend. So I was single at the time, I was mingling. So I tell him, no, I do not have a boyfriend. Sharp. So I ask him, what about you? Are you single or what? And then he tells me, no, he has a girlfriend. The girlfriend stays in Pretoria. However, this girlfriend doesn't seem to be interested in the relationship anymore because she doesn't visit as often anymore. She doesn't like call. Like, she just is not being a girlfriend anymore. This is him telling me that he's actually looking to get out of the relationship and get into another one. Okay, cool. But now I'm thinking, I'm not really taking this guy seriously. That's one thing about me. even if I'm in a relationship and you're saying you're single and I can see you're single, I'm not taking you that seriously yet. I don't know why, that's just my thing. One time I was in town, and then he calls me. When he calls me, just when he gets to a part like how are you and stuff like that, some woman starts talking to him in the background, like who are you talking to? And then he just makes up a story. Now on my end, I don't know what he's talking about, right? And to her, it seems like he's talking to somebody, I don't know who. I just hang up and I'm like, okay, whatever, he'll call me back. And okay, he comes to pick me up one day, a few days later actually. He comes to pick me up. He said we must go out to Gauteng, like we must go out and just have some fun, and I should sleep over. Wow. I was like, okay, cool. But now my cousin is visiting, so I'm thinking my cousin is visiting, and he's like, no, it's fine because I'm actually going with my friend, the one that we met through. Okay, cool. They come to pick us up. We go to Gauteng and we go to Moja, right? We go to Moja. Okay, get a seat at Moja. Order some food, order some drinks, and then his phone starts ringing, and when I peep, it says, I think baby, my baby, something like that. So he gets up, he picks up, and he comes back. Okay, cool. He whispers something to his friend. Whatever. So as we're chilling, he does show me a picture. Look at he tells me, look at this these pictures. One time the girlfriend threw him a party, né? And they put on like some makeup moyen and stuff like that. So he was showing me that, and then the picture of the lady, and he was like, no, this is my girlfriend. Oh, okay, cool, she's pretty sharp. Life goes on. Moja, it's nice. Now it's time to close. As you know, Moja used to close at what, 10, 11? It's time to go home. So now, remember that this home right now is his place, right? This home is his place. And it being his place, it's in Carltonville. So we drive to Carltonville, and when we get there, they're like, no, they don't want to sleep. Let's go have some fun some more in Carltonville. So I was getting bored of all the places in Carltonville, actually. And then he had like a disagreement with his friend, and then his friend was like, I already called my wife and told her that I am still going out, so I really can't go home right now. So it was like a whole argument and stuff, and I was like, no, just take us back home. It's like, it's not too far. And I was considering the fact that my cousin also, maybe she felt uncomfortable, so I was like, no, let's come back home. And my cousin at some point was like, no, it's fine, we can sleep over, we'll come back home, we'll go back home the following morning. Okay, fine. The following morning was a Sunday. Sharp, we go to his house, and when we get there, you know how when you go to your boyfriend's house, or you go, me personally, when I go to my guy's house, any guy, and for the first time, I look through things, the cupboards, I look through, I want to know what is this, what is that, but surprisingly that day I didn't do that. So one thing you must know about me is that I've got a very strong intuition, right? So if it tells me to not do something, I don't do it. If it tells me something is wrong, I must kind of believe it. So yeah, sometimes I think it's my intuition, it's like a past trauma response. So sometimes I don't really know what's going on, so I ignore. I don't do what I wanted to do. I also not do it. You understand? I just ignore. My cousin looked through and she's like, "Your hair." I'm like, "Okay." Actually no. We went to sleep. My cousin went to sleep in a different room. My friend, who happens to be his friend, also slept in a different room. We slept in the same bedroom. Cool. And when I get on the bed, I tell him, something tells me this is a matrimonial bed. He starts throwing tantrums. Why would you think so? I told you I don't have a girlfriend. My girlfriend is in Pretoria. Wow. I was like, okay, chill. Me, I sleep. In the morning, I demand to go home. He throws a tantrum again. no, I'll take you home later, I'm still tired. I'm like, okay, chill. So now I changed into his clothes, like his shorts and his top. And then I take a nap again. My cousin also takes a nap. My friend also takes a nap, right? He also sleeps next to me. Yeah. Now I'm sleeping. And I can hear a voice in my sleep saying, in my house, I'm gonna get you. I told you. Now I open my eyes and I see this lady and she's shouting. And she's like, didn't I tell you about this girl? Didn't I tell you about this girl? Then she's like, are you the girl? Do you stay in Posh? I'm like, yeah. And then now I look at her properly. I'm thinking, I've seen this person somewhere. Only to think, oh, this is the person that I saw on the picture that he was showing me, the girlfriend. So she is shouting, she's opening cupboards and stuff, and now she's pulling the clothes I'm wearing. You're even wearing his clothes. Didn't I tell you to stop? You know you have somebody on my bed. Yes, says one guy. Now I wake up fully like, okay, what the fuck is going on? Honey, what is this, honey? Okay. And she walks out of the bedroom. Now he pokes me and he's like, go sleep in the other bedroom. What other bedroom? The one that both our friends are sleeping in. I'm like, dude, why? Go sleep, just go. I'm like, dude, she's already here. And then what the fuck is going on actually? I can't now go pretend I'm that guy's girlfriend because I'm here and what the fuck is going on? Who is she? What's going on? And he just stays in the bedroom. I get up. I go to the bedroom my cousin is sleeping in. I take my bags. And I go there. I change out of his clothes and I change into my clothes. Right? And I tell my cousin, should this person want to fight, can you please do me the honor, because you know I am not about that life. Besides me not being about that life, I've come to realize that I'm in somebody else's house. She has every right to fight. Although I didn't know about it, I'm also as lost as she is, and I've been lied to like she is. I just feel like, you know what, I'm not gonna fight her. Fine. My cousin's like, okay, sure. And then she comes and she's like, Wena, who are you? She asks my cousin. And my cousin's like, no, I'm her cousin. Are you that other guy's girlfriend? And she's like, no. She's like, okay, get out of my house. Wow. Okay, chill. We put on our shoes and we take our bags and we walk out. As we're about to walk out, she's like, no, actually come back and sit down in the lounge. Okay, cool. And she's like, what is your name? I tell her my name. Where are you from? What do you do? How old are you? I tell her, I'm who. I work, I stay in Bosch, okay. And she's like, so what happened last night? Tell me. I tell her everything. No, he came to fetch us, we went to Moja, and she's like, you know, I'm like, so who are you? And then she tells me her name. I forgot her name. She tells me her name and she tells me he's my husband. We've been married for 7 years. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah. Now I tell her the whole story. No, this guy told me that he has a girlfriend who stays in Pretoria and she doesn't really care about him. Now let's go back to this part where in the morning when we woke up, my cousin came into the bedroom and she's the one that started looking through stuff, and she was like, she's seeing underwear, you know, all women things, and she's like, this person who they claim Khoro Udula Pretoria doesn't look like that, because all these things, they make it look like this person stays here. So I was like, you know what, I don't want to get involved. I just feel like the moment I get out of this place, I'm not going to see this guy again because he's just giving me bad vibes. So now going back to it. So I was telling her about the whole thing. She's like, no, I've been married to this guy for 7 years. We have 2 kids. Now I tell her that this guy told me, and they have 2 kids, like not yet teenagers. And I tell her, no, this guy told me that he has a son who is in UJ. She's like, no ways. Alright, sharp. Kid forwards. I mean, using nothing like that. A liar. So she goes to him. And she starts interrogating him. Who is that? Didn't I tell you? The guy is just quiet. There's just something about guys when they're in trouble, they just keep quiet. So he was just quiet. And then he goes and runs the bath water, and she's like, what? He runs the bath water. She's like, come, let's go. You're gonna tell him that you want a bath with him. I'm like, no. She's like, go, let's go, let's go. We get there and I open the door. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, what is going on? Why would you lie to me like this? He's like, you know what? I'm not in the mood. He throws tantrum. I'm not in the mood. And I'm like, chill. So she comes. She's like, what do you mean you're not in the mood? What do you mean you're not in the mood? Because you lied to her. And then we left him. And then she's just there. She's light-skinned, very light-skinned. And her face turns pink. She's like, I don't know what to do. And then she calls her best friend. And she starts ranting. So the best friend on the other line is like, so she's just like, yo, I'm glad I didn't come with you and I didn't come with the kids because it was going to be messy. I'm glad I came alone and stuff. And then she calls my friend's wife and tells her, oh, yo, I found them in the house. There's 2 girls. Wow. Now she's making it seem like my friend also had a thing with my cousin. So they both got busted. And now the wife, my friend is like, nah, I'm not going to stress myself out. Today I'm taking my kids out. I'm taking them out to go for a play date. I'm really not going to stress myself about a grown man. Wow. Now I remember that this person, she was called and she was told that we're going to groove, and she knows me. I know her personally as well. She's my friend's wife, right? So we both know each other. So she actually knew, but she wasn't saying, no, I know that your guy is with somebody else there. But she's not saying it. She's just like, oh, I'm not gonna stress myself. I'm like, good one, girl, because this one now, misery loves company. She wants to lie and say, that one was like, I'm not about that life. I'm taking my kids out. And then she just sits there and she's like, you know what? I don't understand why this guy had to bring you here, because he has money. He could have taken you to a hotel. It just goes to show how much he disrespects both me and our marriage. I'm like, yeah, like I also don't understand why he had to do that. And she tells me, you know what? And you're not the first girl. I'm like, what? She's like, you're the first girl I've caught him with. But I've always come to my house and found makeup on my sheets. I'd find panty liners that I don't use. I just find stuff that aren't mine and they belong to somebody else who is a lady, and he would just always deny it or come up with a story, And she's like, this is the first time in 7 years of all this happening, me catching him red-handed. I'm like, yo, I'm so sorry. And she's like, you know what? I fully understand, and I'm sorry for the way I reacted, because you've also been lied to. And the way now you also thought you got yourself a man, a nice looking man who dresses well, who's clean. You didn't know he's married because he lied to you. I'm like, yeah. And then she tells me that, yo, what was she saying again? What did she say? I don't remember. Oh, and then she tells me that actually she was surprised that they both work in Carltonville. So she told him that she wants to move to like Joburg. And he just said, okay. He didn't fight it. She's like, yo, I was so surprised. He even gave me the go-ahead to go look for a house. I found the house. He gave me the money. I paid everything. She's like, I was so surprised. I was like, something is up. Why does this guy not have a problem with me moving away from him as his wife, with us only seeing each other during the weekend? She's like, nah, something is up. So she's like, for her to actually feel like something was wrong is that this guy called her in the morning. I'm like, yeah, I actually remember him talking to someone else. She's like, yeah. I'm like, and he was whispering, Ara, exactly. He was telling me that he just came back from work and he's going home to sleep. he just came back from work and he's going home to sleep, but he's whispering. And I asked him, why are you whispering? And he was like, no, he's just tired. She's like, nah. Something was like, nah, go to that house. It's like, so I drove all the way here from Joburg. I drove all the way here to come and see what's going on, only for me to find this. So I'm like, yo, I'm just as shocked. I'm sorry. And so she's like, yo, she starts crying. I'm there with my cousin comforting her. And she's like, you know what, let me take you guys home. Because honestly, when I was telling you to leave, I don't know how you're going to, because here you won't find any transport. So let me drive you to Porch. Okay. We get our bags and he's like, she takes his car keys and she's like, nah, let me use his car. Actually, even let me use his cars. Let me use everything of his. Oh, we get in the car and we drive and she just starts, like, she tells me, I don't know how to feel. Please tell me how to feel. Now her face is red. You can see this person is disoriented, like she's not okay. And she just asks me, how should I feel? I don't know how to feel. I'm like, I can understand that you don't know how to feel, but I don't know what to tell you to feel. It's so, I can imagine the pain you're going through. For me, it's a lot better because I recently just met this guy. Although I'm disappointed and I'm a bit shocked and shook and hurt, I can imagine for you, a person who's your husband and who's been doing this to you for 7 years, and you only get to catch him now to realize. She's like, yo, dude, I was starting to think I'm crazy. He would make me feel like I'm crazy all the time. I find this stuff, and he would never let me know, like, the truth. So I'm like, I don't know how you should feel. I'm so sorry. She's like, yo, I think I should drive you guys there just so I can take a drive and have somebody to talk to. And when we get to the part where we get to the N12, she's like, you know what? I don't think I can because I don't think I can because I have to drive back alone and I'm not okay. I don't think that's gonna be a good idea. I'm like, no, you're totally correct. Let's just wait here and wait for like transport that passes by so we can go back. And she's like, okay. And then she's like, yo, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, please be okay. I'm so sorry as well. And you know, we are apologizing and bidding each other farewell. And then she asks, did he give you guys money to go home? I'm like, no, I do have money though. She's like, you know what, he's such an asshole. He is such an asshole. Because first of all, I feel like you shouldn't have slept in my house. You should have slept in a hotel. Second of all, he should have given you money to go home. I'm like, it's fine. I really don't even want his money for me to come discover that he's this type of guy. She's like, okay. And then she just walks back to her car. Her face, guys, it is pink. She is hurting. My anxiety shot up the roof. The transport we were on, somehow I lost my phone in it. My phone was 2 days old. I lost my phone in it. Oh my gosh, guys. I was devastated. So I had another phone. I called him with another phone. I told him I just lost my phone. Like, please just try to call it. No. How can you lose a phone? Yeah, it's so new. Oh my gosh, your phone costing over 10,000 rand. How could you do that? I'm like, oh, actually, bye. And that was the last time I ever spoke to that guy. No, I'm lying. And then one time I went a few weeks later, not even lying, a few weeks later, if not 2-1, I went out with my gents, and there came this woman who was so hyper light skin, and she kept looking at me. And I realized, oh, that's the wife. And he came through as well. And he picked a table that was so near to us because they were sitting at a table further. He went to sit at a table that's nearer to us. He came to greet everybody around me that he knows. And he picked a table so close to ours. He picked a chair so that he can look at me. And his wife kept coming to him. And like, who is he looking at? Who is he looking at? And she just got annoyed, and I was wearing like a fringe, so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to avoid this whole situation. I really don't want to talk to her or anything like that because honestly, I want nothing to do with these people. So I went to the bathroom and this guy would follow me. When I get out, I have another one. Oh my gosh. And you know what? I was like, men, are the ghetto. And this thing, it had, for a while, it had an influence on me. On every time I visit a new guy, well, I've only visited a new guy twice after that. When I hear sounds and stuff like that, I couldn't sleep at night, or in the morning I'd get so anxious that what if this person has a wife and then she's going to walk in and same thing's going to happen. So I'd always be so anxious. It made it so difficult for me to trust a guy telling me that he's single again. You understand? It made it so difficult for me. Oh, but I worked through it. I'm fine. I'm fine. I don't know if I will ever visit a new guy again from here. But yeah, that's how I found out that my boyfriend at that time was married, and he didn't tell me, guys. So you can leave your comments down below. Tell me, do you have the same? Have you ever experienced something like that? Or what do you think about this whole thing? And just you can comment. Banna ke masatanism. I want comments underneath here. Like, banna ke masatanism. Because oh my gosh, man. Oh, and thank you so much for watching, my loves, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Mwah.